all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business.
Good morning and thanks for listening in. This is the daily morning update from Bloomberg Quint and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 15th of June. Now, you're probably seeing signs everywhere of things going back to normal, but at the same time, the number of new cases of COVID-19 being added every day is at its highest so far. More than 3.2 lakh people have now been infected as of yesterday morning, with nearly 12,000 new cases in the 24 hours to 8 a.m. yesterday. Globally, the number of cases has crossed 7.8 million. Maharashtra, which as you know is the state with the highest number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in India, has joined Tamil Nadu to cap the rates private labs can charge for the swab tests that are used to detect COVID-19. The charge for the test for screening against the novel coronavirus can't be higher now than about 2,200 rupees, according to an ENI report. When the samples are collected from home, the RT-PCR test can't cost more than 2,800 rupees, including transportation fees. In the other big story that we've been tracking lately, Army Chief General M.M. Naravane has said over the weekend that the military talks between India and China over the eastern Ladakh row have been very fruitful, and both the armies are disengaging in a phased manner beginning from the Galwan Valley. The Chief of Army Staff also said that the situation is now under control along India's borders with China and exuded confidence that the ongoing dialogue will settle all the perceived differences over the de facto Sino-India border. Meanwhile, India on Saturday termed Nepal's lower house of parliament's move to amend the country's constitution to include Indian territories in its new political map as untenable. The Ministry of External Affairs said that the artificial enlargement of territorial claims by Nepal is not based on historical facts or evidence. In corporate news, Reliance Industries' digital assets have found more suitors. TPG Capital has agreed to pay over 4,500 crore rupees for a stake in Jio Platforms. The deal is for 0.93% stake, according to a Reliance statement. Separately, L. Catterton, the $20 billion consumer-focused private equity firm, will also invest in Jio, putting about 1,890 crore rupees for a 0.4% stake. RIL's digital unit has now sold a little over 22% stake to institutional investors, which has gone a long way to reducing RIL's debt. Dr. Reddy's Laboratories has announced that it has entered into a non-exclusive licensing agreement with Gilead Sciences that will grant the drug maker the right to register, manufacture and sell Gilead's investigational drug Remdesivir, a potential treatment for COVID-19 in 127 countries, including India. In international news, there are fears the coronavirus pandemic is resurging as economies continue to reopen after lockdowns. Beijing shuttered the city's largest fruit and vegetable supply center and locked down nearby housing districts as dozens of people associated with the wholesale market tested positive for coronavirus. In another story, according to a Bloomberg report, new evidence supports Carlos Ghosn's claims that he was set up. According to people familiar with what happened and previously unreported internal correspondence, a campaign by top Nissan executives to dethrone one of the most celebrated leaders in the automotive industry started almost a year before Ghosn's arrest in late 2018 for alleged financial misconduct. The effort was motivated in part by opposition to the former chairman's push for greater integration between the Japanese car maker and longtime alliance partner Renault. In international markets, equities in the Asia-Pacific region have started in the red, with all three early risers starting lower. And as of this morning, US equity futures are pointing to cuts in today's session. But as we saw on Friday, the Indian markets have of late not been influenced by what's happening overseas. Here's Agam Vakil with what you need to know before trade begins. Good morning, Agam. How are we looking this Monday morning?
Good morning, Alex, and good morning, listeners. Well, Asian indices are currently trending flattish, and that is also the case for the SGX Nifty futures, which means that we are also likely to see a muted opening this morning. But over the weekend, we've had plenty of earnings. So let's start by talking about a few of the important ones. I'll start with Eicher Motors, where because of the pandemic and the lockdown which came into place, we've seen revenues decline 12% on a year-on-year basis for the fourth quarter. Net profit down 44%, also seeing a considerable contraction in margins coming in below 20%. Versus 27.4%. The company, however, has said that it sold its entire BS4 inventory in mandated time. So overall, it was an operationally below estimate, but the earnings as far as your profit is concerned was a miss. We also saw a decline of 20% in volumes. But perhaps more importantly, Eicher Motors board has also approved a stock split, that is a subdivision of equity shares from the existing one equity share of face value of 10 each into 10 shares of face value of 1 each. And they are expecting to carry out this stock split in the next 2 to 3 months after obtaining various shareholder approvals as well as others. But moving on, we also have another nifty company, this Grasim, where revenues down 11%, net profit, however, was up 32%, with margins remaining fairly stable at 20.6%. Not too much contraction there, but it was a very, very weak quarter for BHEL, where we saw revenues decline 51% for Bharat Heavy Electricals, and it also reported a net loss of 1,533 crores versus a profit of 681 crores. And in fact, it's made an operational loss of 560 crores against an operational profit of 1,386 crores. So some concerns coming in as far as that one goes. Moving on to Vinati Organics, we have seen revenues decline 18% and net profit down 10%. Its margins, however, remained flat at 41.4%. In terms of earnings today, we will be watching out for Tata Motors, Shoppers Stop, Indraprastha Gas, Shilpa Medicare and Canfin Homes, among many others. We also have an update from Mindtree on COVID-19 impact, and the company says it expects high single-digit decline in overall revenue growth and margins to hold for the first quarter of the financial year 2021 on a sequential basis. And this is again largely on expected lines, as this has been the case for most other IT companies too. The companies are seeing increasing demand in other segments such as communications, media and technologies, and consumer packaged goods. And moving on to Kerala Healthcare, we have Zydus Kerala, which has signed a non-exclusive licensing agreement with Gilead Sciences for the manufacturing and distribution of Remdesivir, the investigational drug which has been issued an emergency use authorization by the US FDA to treat patients suffering from severe symptoms of the novel coronavirus. As part of the non-exclusive agreement, Zydus will receive manufacturing know-how from Gilead Sciences to manufacture the API for Remdesivir and the finished product and the market it in 127 countries, including India. Under the agreement, the license is royalty-free until another pharmaceutical product or vaccine is approved for the treatment or prevention of COVID-19 by the US FDA or the EMA or the World Health Organization, announcing the end of the public health emergency. Now, these are just some of the stocks we can watch out for as we move into trade today, but don't forget to go through our morning edition of All You Need to Know only on BloombergQuint.com.
Thanks, Agam. And as always, thank you all for listening in. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great Monday and an amazing rest of the week.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you can listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma. Or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.